Hello, welcome to Simply Liminal. My name is Stacy. I just want to welcome you all in for my reading for the Imbolc season, or Imbolc, depending on how you've been taught to say it. I was taught to say it Imbolc years ago with the pronouncing the B. You can say it Imbolc with the silent B. It doesn't matter. You know, the pronunciation isn't the biggest thing. Looking at what the season means or the turn of the wheel is what's really important. So our last turn of the wheel was Yule, which is the beginning of our solar year. It's when the sun both ends its solar cycle and then starts its solar cycle. So we are in a new solar cycle. And during the year, there are 4 major holidays or periods. Those are the solstices and the equinoxes. They're kind of like the 4 corners of the year. And then in between, there are 4 other points. I think of them as spokes in a great wheel. And so we are turning the wheel to Imbolc season now. Imbolc is associated with the Celtic tradition. It is associated with the goddess Brigid, who is associated with the hearth. Imbolc itself means in the belly. So it kind of talks about, agricultural communities that were preparing for spring. Women were pregnant and going to have babies. Animals were pregnant and going to have babies. And they were all sort of making milk at this time. So that is the process of the year. I also think of this as, Yule is winter, really our bridge to deep winter. And now we are turning a bit towards spring. The ground is just starting to warm up a little bit if you're in the northern hemisphere. I associate this with seeds. You're preparing seeds. Seed catalogs will come out. People get really excited about gardening and flowers. Also, the idea of the earth warming up and preparing for something new. The days are getting longer as well. We're starting to see the sun more in the northern hemisphere. Sorry if you can hear the racket in the background. My cats, I got 2 pretty young cats and they are playing. I think they like the energy of these readings. So if there's ruckus in the background, it's them. Anyway, so for this year's readings, I have been called to do them differently than I did last year. First of all, I'm using the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Lynn. If you want to check out my Yule reading, you please go back and look at it to see how that fit the season, which was basically from December 21st, I think, to now, which Imbolc is classically celebrated February 1st, though sometimes people will celebrate it a little bit later in the year, just depending on their tradition or what they were taught. What I'm looking at this year are 5 things. We're looking at earth, water, air, fire, and spirit. And these are messages in general for them. And they are messages for the collective. Here's the back of the deck. I've been shuffling them while I've been talking. But messages for the collective, for us all. Now, I look at every aspect of this reading, all the elements. However, if you feel more called to one element, think of that as your primary reading. That is up to you. Trust your intuition and what feels right to you. So we're just going to shuffle the deck and then see what messages we have. I'm going to lay them all out and then I will read both intuitively with the message and the artwork, but also based on the book. Denise Lynn writes beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things in her guidebooks, and I think it would be a shame not to connect her message and the card deck's message to the cards itself. So we are looking at our message for Earth. We are looking at our message for water. We are looking at our message for air. Sorry, trying to fit this all in here. I feel called to give this just another little bit of a shuffle. So we are called to our message for fire. And then we are called to our message for spirit overall. So here we go. I've also been kind of called to lay them out as a star, like a 5-pointed star, because the shape feels right. It really calls to spirituality to me. The stars, the connection to the stars in the universe, and the great beyond. So let's take a look at what our first message has in store for us, which is our message from Earth. So we have release. This is really interesting. Release is a hard thing. The artwork depicts autumn. Autumn is very much about releasing. The beautiful thing about autumn is this. The trees, as in this artwork here, lose their leaves. It's their preparation. But down under the ground, they're already preparing for the next year. So the tree is releasing the leaves to conserve its energy during the winter, the hard time, the darker time, so it can produce new leaves in the spring. So to release is a beautiful thing because release is preparation for something more or better. So let's look at what Denise says about this card. 70s, gotta get to the right page. So the other message with this deck is called Autumn Light. And the message from the deck or from the card is this. The sacred landscape wants you to know, when you receive this card, it is time to let go and surrender. Let go of situations, people, and objects that do not serve you. Let go of the old. Let go of the outmoded, let go of the self-limiting beliefs that drag you down. This is a time of stripping away superficial distractions until you reach who you are at your core. If you're holding on to the old, it is difficult for anything new to come into your life. This is a good time to clear clutter, to release things. I have been trying to do that. My life has been kind of in turmoil for about 7 months now, but one thing it has taught me is I have a lot of things that I don't need. I just have them because I like them or want them, mostly just that I have them. But it's okay to release some things, and that's what I'm trying to do in this season. So advice for you, release. Okay, let's take a look at what the message is from water. We have wonders. This is a beautiful card. There is a crystal point here, and it almost looks like it's just in a galaxy, but crystals are fabulous. They all have a different rhythm and energy about them. They all have different aspects and things that can heal them. This looks potentially like amethyst, though it could be quartz. It's purpley in the artwork, but what water is telling us is wonders. Now, water is probably the most feminine of all of these energies of the elements that we're looking at, I guess is what I mean to say. Got to get to the right page here. There it is. Water is probably the most feminine. It kind of allows you to flow, and that is something I've been trying to bring in on this season, not to try to control everything, and it's good advice for us all. And that's also part of release. You know, if you release things, you allow the flow of new energy to come into you, and with that energy can bring you wonders. So it is quartz crystal, though amethyst is quartz based. But the message here from the card, or from the book, is the sacred landscape wants you to know, just around the corner, exciting possibilities are waiting for you. Wonders are abounding in your life. Sometimes they won't be apparent at first. Nevertheless, they are there. The more you see them and embrace them, the more these possibilities will grow in magnitude. Celebrate and cherish even the smaller ones, no matter how tiny they may seem. Let go of expectations. This is very important, and this is a lesson I'm learning, and probably many of us need to. We want an outcome, and we want to direct how we get there because it's comfortable, but the outcome that we're meant to find will be there. So if you just release and then allow wonders to come into your life with flow, it's all going to work out. So again, let go of expectations. Don't limit the way that you think that wondrous events could appear in your life. Be open. If you believe, anything and everything is possible, which is wonderful. Anything and everything is possible. So let's look at our message from air. With our Yule reading, it was really interesting. My air message was like healing chaos. And I remember it specifically because it was like a tornado with calmly flying butterflies around it. But it tried to like push its way to the forefront. When I was turning the card for Earth, air was already stepping forward. By me reading a message that wasn't correct, it wasn't the earth message, it was the air message. This feels like air is taking its turn this time. A little more gentle, maybe allowing flow to happen. So let's see what air says. It's the gateway. Gateways are beautiful. I name my channel simply Liminal because I love liminal spaces. And liminal spaces are transitions. They're places in between. They're doorways, they're gateways, they're pathways. They are the dusk and the dawn. They are when we are standing on the cusp of something older or something in the past and something in the future. Right now, we are in this moment. We are in now, and we are in a gateway. There's also a unicorn here, which is beautiful. Always kind of uplifting to see them. A definite creature that pops up in mythological literature. People will tell you in some dimensions, unicorns exist. Or maybe on this earth, they existed at one time. Some people will tell you dragons exist. I've also heard that, well, I don't want to go into it, but be open to possibilities. You're in a gateway of something wonderful. And gateways are wonderful in the sense that you are there. You're in that moment and you're ready to walk through. And that's a beautiful, beautiful way to be. The co-message or the sub-message for this card is the Enchanted Valley. And it says here, there are places on the planet where the veil between the physical realms and the mystical realms and dimensions is especially thin. These places are called portals, vortexes, spirit gateways. In mythology, they are revered as places where things beyond the ordinary can occur. Mystics, visionaries, and shamans can traverse this realm and can transverse this realm through these places. So, let's take a look at the actual message from the card. But I think it's really interesting. I mean, Imbolc is a gateway. We are on the gateway of a wheel of a new year. But boy, there is shifting energy in our world. I've been trying not to pay much attention to politics or the news, but you really can't help. There's change going on all over the world. Great unrest with many populations, not just here in the United States. I mean, half of the people are happy, half of the people are unhappy. Everybody dislikes other people. But it's not just the United States. This kind of transition and turmoil is happening in many, many, many countries. And not just with people, but within the earth itself. Forest fires, floods, earthquakes, tsunami warnings. Like, the earth is shifting and changing in the way that we are shifting and changing, in the way the sun is shifting and changing with this amazing solar cycle that we're in. And we're all on the gateway of something new. We're standing there and we're ready to walk through. So the sacred landscape wants you to know magic is afoot. Wondrous events are unfolding. Profound revelations and inner illuminations are close at hand. It is now much easier to manifest your dreams. This is an excellent time to take action on your visions for your future. A small amount of action now will generate much bigger results. Which, reminds me, I have some work to do. Some work to do. In this next several days, important to set intentions, to call to the spirit world for help and guidance, and to trust that things will work out, and then to also do things to help them work out. Because, you're not going to get a new job if you don't throw a resume out there in the world. Just saying, we got to work a little bit for the things we ask for as well. I'm not looking for a new job. That's not what this is about. Gateways to spirits are opening, and there are places where the veil is especially thin. Fairies and elves are supporting you. Wonders are blossoming in your life. Watch for them, opening your heart to the hallowed, holy, magical energy. The more you become aware of small marvels in your life, the more they will grow in magnitude. Everybody kind of has something that uplifts them. And for me, it's hawks. And today, coming here to do these readings, I seen two beautiful hawks soaring They went across my path, pretty low flying, and that always uplifts me. And I always feel like that is a message from the heavens that I'm on the right path. So everybody will have that. It might be a butterfly. It might be the sunrise. It might be something special in your house that means something to you. Look for those little things because they are big messages. Big messages. Big messages come in little packages. That's what I'm going to say. So let's take a look at our message from fire. I always read with fire. I love these candles. It always makes me feel like that connection to creativity and the spirit world. I'm also a double Leo, so I dig fire. It's my jam. So let's see what our message from fire is. We have change. So really interesting. Another beautiful card. We have a carousel horse really suspended so high. This looks like they're in the cloudy universe through a hot air balloon, but change is coming. So we've got a lot of things here in this reading that are jiving, aren't we? We're being told to release, to allow wonders to come in. We're standing on the gateway of change. And as I just was talking about, change is happening. Change is happening in the world, whether you want it to or not, whether you're comfortable with it or not. My advice to you is don't fear. Anticipate only good things. Try to be positive. Try to be kind. Try to be patient with people. Try to be supportive. Dragging each other down, calling people names, it doesn't help anything. Whether you get along with somebody or not, or agree with their opinion or not, know that everybody is coming from a place within themselves. And a lot of people are afraid and really uncomfortable with the changes that are going on in the world. So the subtitle of this card is Dancing Clouds, which is beautiful. And it says here, throughout time, people have looked to the heavens for signs. This is talking about signs in the clouds, but I was just talking about how I look for signs in the soaring of hawks, eagles, birds of prey, owls. Goodness. Yep. I've had several owl encounters recently. They're definitely calling, though it's that time of year where I'm at. You know, they're working into mating season, nesting. So you will hear a lot of owls calling, but definitely these are things I pay attention to. Excuse me. The sacred landscape wants you to know it's okay to change your mind. It's all right to change directions. Sorry, Betty. This is my kitten that got in last month's readings. She's something. She is something. She is Betty Boop when she was little because she wiggled so much and she just kind of sashayed around. She even looks a little bit like Betty Boop, if a cat can look like a cartoon character. And now, you know, she's past that really cute and cuddly 3-month-old stage and she's about 10 months old and she's Bad Betty, you know. I mean, I love her, goodness, but she is something. So anyway, let me get back to this. It's okay to change your mind. It's all right to change directions. You don't need to be consistent, which is an interesting thing, isn't it? You don't need to be consistent. And this card is basically saying this carousel horse is floating on the winds of change and it is going where the winds of change take it. So don't try to steer this balloon. Don't necessarily try to say, well, I had a plan, A, B, C, D, and finally I'd get, to the end of the alphabet and I would have completed things. No, you do not need to be consistent. This is the time to put the needs and expectations of others aside and listen to the beat of your own drum. You don't need to follow tradition. Create your own traditions. You are free to express yourself and let your spirit fly. Be daring. Go beyond predictable behavior. Just because something has always been done a certain way doesn't mean that it needs to continue to be done that way. You can't control the exact circumstances of your life. I mean, truly, we cannot. Even, I believe, if we think we're controlling things, we're not. And if we are trying to control things too tightly, the way gets bumpier. So anyway, you can't control the exact circumstances of your life, but you can control what meaning you give them. Select meanings that empower you, for this is the time to be carefree, wild, and unpredictable. That kind of sounds like fire energy, doesn't it? Carefree, wild, and unpredictable. So keep that in mind. That is our beautiful message from fire. Now, let's take a look at our last message here, and this is our overall message from Spirit. Of course, Spirit guides everything. I think of spirit as a direction, though sometimes I think of it as the direction of up, and we look at the directions classically one way or another. But here I'm looking at the elements, and so I do consider there to be 5 elements. Some people will even consider there to be 4 elements. Some people will consider there to be many more. Anyway, we're looking at 5. So let's see what message spirit has for us. And I'm excited to see protection. Interesting. So I'm just looking at the reading and I see we're being guided to release and to be open to the wonders around us. We're standing on a gateway and change is coming. But spirit is saying protection. So I'm not telling you to be guarded, but just be a little cautious at this time because there is so much stuff going on. We might need to be protected a little bit. I mean, this is a beautiful scene, isn't it? I love lightning storms. I love thunder and lightning. I love the energy they bring, how it sparkles and crackles in the air, and it really clears energy. There's nothing like a thunderstorm rolling through to just zap whatever has been going on and bring in a whole new feeling. So we have the message of protection from spirit. And, all of these are important, but spirit overall is giving us this message for a reason. So the picture or subtitle of this card is called The Guardian Oak. I do have a love for oak trees. My family, many years ago, I've been in many generations in Montana, but came from Ohio, or at least some of my family, and they transplanted oak trees that were there. They're bur oaks, so a variety of white oak, from their place in Ohio, brought some seedlings out, planted trees. We've got several 100-year-old trees on the farmsteads. And since that time, we have taken acorns and grown them. I call it hatching. I think I'm funny. But last year, my mom and I actually got 3 of 4 acorns to grow into little seedling trees. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's been a hard year for my mom and I. That was kind of in the spring when we did that. And a couple months later, she had a massive stroke, which has changed our lives completely. And we are trying to find our way forward. There's a lot of change in our life, but we're finding a way forward. But I find a lot of strength in oak trees. And they are associated with several energies and spirits, but they are strong, old growth, long living trees. So it says here, in many traditions, the oak tree is associated with wisdom, strength, and protection. One of the many remarkable things about the oak is that from the smallest acorn, a powerful tree of enormous size can spring forth and live for hundreds of years. Beautiful, right? The roots of the oak go as deep as the earth and as its branches reach into the sky. So, the sacred landscape wants you to know one of the most potent signs on the sacred landscape is the ancient oak. It carries numerous meanings. You are protected. You can weather anything. Your roots go deep. You are brave and you can survive anything. Stand strong. You carry the energy of a leader and you have great authority in life. Great wisdom is expanding within you and others sense this. This card can also mean to protect your assets. Take care to guard and protect your home, your loved ones, and yourself. So this message, I think, is going to resonate a little different for each of us. But overall, we have a powerful message coming to us for this Imbolc season. As the wheel turns towards spring in the Northern Hemisphere, I know in the Southern Hemisphere, you're turning towards winter. But this is what we have right now, and this is a beautiful message. So I hope you found this reading helpful. I hope you've connected with it in some way. If you found that you connected with the entire reading or that you connected with one element or the other, I would love to hear it in the comments. Please tell me what you think about these readings. Tell me what you think about this deck. This is the Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. She has multiple decks out there in the world, and they are all fabulous. I feel connected to them, and the guidance that comes through her is quite deep and beautiful. So please please subscribe. Please let me know what you think about this reading. I appreciate you all for looking in and checking out my reading, and I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed Imbolc season. Bye-bye.